What it do? We're back again. The Grounded Show, episode 149. You hear me? What's going on, bro? I'm here with the special guest of the day, the homie Dizzle Phunk. Y'all may know him if you're in the Orlando area, seen him out mixing, seen him out doing his thing. He actually is the inspiration behind what me and Joe's been doing with the winery, just from the point of view of like when I saw your event, it was kind of like eye opening for me to just the idea of like you have a cool event where like even me, somebody that I don't like to go out like that, it has like that kind of vibe that you could still enjoy yourself. You know, like even Joe was saying, like, bro, trust me, pull up. I'm not gonna invite you if I think you're not gonna enjoy yourself. So I pulled up and we had a great time. And like I said, I was like, damn, bro, something like this, I will be down to get behind because it's actually like a cool vibe, you know?
Well, that means you're getting older too. That's all that means. We
Yeah,
want to
that's
sit
true.
down,
That's
chill,
true, bro. At the
relax,
end of the
and not
day,
do anything.
yeah,
No, I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that, man. You know, that's what we're here for, to inspire each other, right?
yeah, man. And obviously you've been doing it for a long time, doing music, doing your thing, and that's something that you kind of like cultivate and kind of put together over time, figure that out, and be able to have like an atmosphere where people can really chill, and you're kind of like
Mm-hmm.
leading the vibe with the music and stuff. That's always it's always dope to see like when you doing your music thing puts people in a certain place. You know what I mean? Like and lets them like kind of let their guard down, relax, enjoy it. You
That's
know what I
the
mean?
purpose of a DJ in particular. You know, to vibe out, let the people
Exactly.
relax, be themselves.
Yep, yep. I feel like sometimes you go places and like with the social media stuff, it kind of makes DJs feel like they gotta be like the main guy or like the main character or whatever. But it's like, nah, the
Yeah.
vibe is the main character. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
mean, it depends. If people come to see your music in particular, you know, it's like you're the musician on the stage.
That's true. That's
It
true.
depends
Yep.
on the setting, I
For sure. For
believe.
sure.
You know, it's all about the setting and what vibe or aesthetic you're going for.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense for sure. You mess with Steely Dan at all,
Of course.
bro? So like, Steely Dan is one of those things where like, if you mention Steely Dan to somebody, and if they don't even know what you're talking about, that tells you something.
Mm.
All right, but then on top of that, it's like, dang, bro, like you really ain't never heard Steely Dan,
And they
like.
have, though. They just don't know
No,
who
no,
wrote that
facts. That
song. Yeah,
facts,
yeah.
especially with like Kanye sampling them. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't
What
put
he
that
sampled
together.
them for.
He sampled them on Champion
Oh,
on the Graduation album.
really?
Yep. There's a song called I think the song was called The Kid Charlemagne, and you know that song the Kanye one where the Did you realize
Mm-hmm.
that you were a champion?
That's Steely
That was
Dan?
that Steely
Oh,
Dan
nice.
joint.
I didn't
Yep.
know that.
Yeah, man. So even Kanye was tapped in, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
And Steely Dan is one of, and the reason I bring up Steely Dan is because before we started recording, you showed me one of the new joints you've been working on,
Right.
and the way that you incorporate like the different instruments and the vibe and stuff, it gave me that kind of like Steely Dan kind of vibe because Steely Dan kind of has that thing where it's the band is not really a band. The band is like the two main guys, and they just use session musicians to do the rest of the song. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you feel like Steely Dan is like a big band or whatever, but it's really just two guys that have these ideas and they're saying, "All right, bro, let's see who
Knock
can
this
play
out
this
for
the
me.
best." You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep. Yeah, putting the pieces together. That's the ultimate description of a producer, I think.
Yeah, yeah, for
You know,
sure,
you put everybody in the room, like a Quincy Jones or, you know,
bro. Perfect segue. I've
Joe
been
Jackson, R.I.P.
yeah, facts.
Maybe not a good example, but regardless,
I've been seeing a lot of Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson stuff. Obviously, the movie just dropped, so
right?
like people are back in that bag. And the main thing I've been noticing about Quincy Jones, at least from like the kind of stuff that's been falling in my algorithm, is so a lot of the musicians from Toto were the ones that worked on Thriller with Michael Jackson.
Okay.
So even some of the guys from Toto even did some songwriting on the Thriller album. Like one of the guys from Toto wrote Human Nature. He it was like a demo that he had floating around, and he ended up getting into Michael Jackson, obviously. And something that I noticed about Quincy Jones is a lot of the stuff that they were doing for the Thriller album was very poppy.
Hmm.
And whenever Quincy Jones would reach out to somebody to play something different or add some guitar or whatever, he would always do it from the point of view of like, yo, make this funky. Like give this the groove, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's like the thing, like kind of going to what you're saying, how important a producer is. Like that was the thing that made Thriller such a crazy and unique album because it had the pop, but Quincy Jones made it funky, so it was R&B. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like it was pop, but it was pop R&B.
Right.
So like it crossed over, but also people that were just fans of R&B rocked with it because it was too good. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And kind of like you were saying, like you had a lot of people involved in the song that you play for me. You know what I mean? You had people play all those instruments and a singer and everything.
Yeah, yeah. We had Chris LeBrain on keys and organs. We had Chuck McGinn on guitars and vocals.
Nice, nice. And it's just the idea of like these people wouldn't have just got together on their own more than likely to put this together.
No,
It's
probably not.
your mind and what you're kind of envisioning with what they're good at and seeing how it fits into the sound that you're trying to create that really like puts it all together.
Right.
And that's the thing, like we've talked about on the podcast before too. Like a lot of people be like, man, this I like this from this artist, but then after that they never did
That was
anything
it.
else.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, because they were with this producer for that and they never use that producer again. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like I always see like a lot of good producers talk about how they'll do something with an artist and the artist will get kind of big headed, like, oh,
I
it's
don't need
me.
you
You know
anymore.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. It'll do
I
well and I'll
can't
be
wait till
like,
I get that big.
exactly. And then they go and they don't have that same success because they realize, like, bro, it wasn't just you. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah.
there's somebody else there filtering that music and they see what's good about you and they know how to like highlight it and stuff. And it's like sometimes when you do, because like I'm the same as you. Like I have my home studio, but same as you, I collaborate with people too. Because if you get too like deep in your cave, you don't really know like what's good, what's
You
not.
lose
Like
touch.
exactly. Like
Mhm.
you know what you like, and you know when you make some dope stuff. But at the same time, like music is like collaborative to a certain point, like to a certain extent. Even just from the point of view of like you got to get people to like it. So even as much as you try to say I'm doing it all myself, you still need people to enjoy it. So like it's
Facts.
collaborative regardless. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it kind of goes back to like what we were talking about when we were outside before we started recording. Like everybody wants to be like the main character, not realizing like them being part of like somebody's story can carry them to the next thing.
Yeah, man, everybody's not the main character.
Exactly. And even like kind of going back to the Thriller thing right now, a lot of the people involved with making the album are getting interviewed.
Mm,
Why? Because
'cause the
they had the mind to say, "Yo, I can be part of something super dope. Let me be part of that." And now for the rest of their lives, they're always good because they had a hand in Thriller. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Were they the main character? Nah. But they were a key component. The guy that wrote Human Nature, bro, you never get Human Nature unless you have that guy write that
Yeah,
song, you
yeah,
know?
correct. Well, that's why you become a part of something like that to elevate you to the next level so you can go and do your own thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Sheila E. So she was under Prince for so long,
Yep, yep.
and eventually she broke apart and did her own thing. But sometimes you got to suck it up and not maybe suck it up, but you just got to
Yeah, I get what
put
you're
your piece
saying.
in
Yep.
and let it ride and build a bigger thing and then go off and do your thing.
Like the best example now, because he's the biggest guy, is like not everybody's Bad Bunny, bro. There's one Bad Bunny.
Everybody should be Bad Bunny
Yeah,
for the record.
yeah. I mean, for sure. I definitely agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like they're only putting that kind of money and exposure into a few artists, and if you're not those artists, keep making your art. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like you don't
yeah.
gotta be Beyonce to make some stuff that's Beyonce quality. You know what I mean? Like if it's in you, do your thing. Like we were talking about it before we recorded too. Like everybody needs to do something creative, bro. Like if you let that creative side of you die, bro, like
You're dead.
a little piece of your like
Mm-mm.
personality and even like your critical thinking dies. I feel like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, yeah, you have to express yourself like a hobby or whatever it may be. You know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure,
Like call it what you will.
exactly. And before we were recording, also we were talking a little bit about like video games and stuff. And I'm kind of like you, bro. Like I was always outside. I do play a little
In
Call
the
of Duty
streets.
in the streets. In the streets. Now I was at the basketball court, bro. That was my thing. But you know, when I was little, I definitely had a Super Nintendo and a PlayStation and stuff. And like I had like this super obscure game that like every time I bring it up to people, they don't know what I'm talking about. It was called Super Earth Defense Force.
Sounds like some Atari stuff.
It was this game of like an airplane, and then in the beginning, you pick what kind of weapon you want for that plane. Like it had
Mm.
like homing missiles, like a spray,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
bombs. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
You pick
yeah.
one of like 8 different weapons,
Mhm.
and then you
You're
attack the
stuck with
level. You
it.
know what I mean? And bro, that game to me, that game was so fire, bro, because it had like kind of like a little Top Gunish kind of vibe with the music and like the vibe of the game.
Yep.
And it was super hard too, ayo. But the game was super dope. And like anytime I bring it up to people, they never know what game
What
I'm
was that
talking about.
on?
That was on Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo?
So it was like like the second version of a game called Earth Defense Force.
Okay.
So when on Super Nintendo, it was Super Earth Defense
Sure,
Force
of
because it was
course,
Super
obviously.
Nintendo, you know. But
What did you ever play? Star Fox?
Star Fox, yeah, I played
Yeah.
Star
Was it
Fox.
similar to that or
Nah,
no, no?
it was almost like a Contra
Yeah, yeah, old
kind of
school like
vibe, you know, but it's a plane, you know. It was dope though, man. Like that was I have a homie that actually does like he be on TikTok like streaming, doing
mhm.
like just playing retro games and stuff. And I suggested it to him like when he was on one day. I'm like, "Yo, you should play Super Earth Defense Force." And he pulled it up. And he had never played it before. He's like, "Damn, this game is pretty dope. Like I could see like getting into it, you know?"
Nice.
And it's like, you know, back in the day, like if you ain't had like a lot of money, like you had to buy the games that were like cheaper. You know what I'm
Sure,
saying?
sure.
So you had to find like them little random hidden gems of
In the
games. You know what I
bins.
mean?
Yeah.
So like that was like one of my little hidden gem type games. You know what I mean? Like, yo, this game is pretty dope. Like nobody really knows about it,
What was
but
the max level you got on there?
man, I probably only beat like the third level on that. But it
Yeah.
was one of them games like
Had 5
that.
levels
That's
and
the
that
thing
was
too
it?
about like games that kids don't understand nowadays, bro. Like games back in the day, you barely had any lives. You could barely take any damage, and the levels were so hard, bro.
Mhm.
Like you really had to like get through the whole level, only getting hit like one
Yeah,
time.
I quit playing video games after a while. I was like, "Nah, that's no fun.
Yeah,
I can't go
same,
past this
bro.
level."
It gets to a certain point where like the game is too much. Like when I play a video game, that's why like the only game I play now is Call of Duty
Mm.
because it's easy, bro. You're just shooting each other, and the last man standing
That's it.
wins.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't got to think about it.
Yeah,
Nothing. It's
yeah.
just like it's just a outlandish game that I enjoy playing. But
Mhm.
all these games were like, and even like another thing that kind of gets me is like people be playing the games where it's like you're just making decisions, like a role playing
Oh,
game or
what do they
something like
call
that.
that?
The RPG
RPGs,
joints,
yeah.
yep.
My boy across the street. So my buddy had a PlayStation. Kid I grew up with, right? The thing I had a Sega and maybe an Atari, right? He had a PlayStation, always the coolest game. So I'd go over there. I was like, yo, let's play some Twisted Metal. I was like, no, I want to play Final Fantasy. I was like, dude, this sucks. This is
Bro,
so boring.
yo, that's a hot take,
Let me
but
go swim in your
yo,
pool, you
I am
know?
100% with you, bro. I never got the Final Fantasy thing because it's like, bruh, I'm not trying to choose what to do. I'm trying to do it.
You gotta
You know what I
choose
mean?
how to fight. All right, I'm gonna do this, and then you watch it fight. You're like, all right, that's it.
The only role playing game that I ever was able to get into was Pokemon. That
Mm.
was the only one that had that style of play that I actually enjoyed. But aside from Pokemon, bro, I hated all those games like that,
Side
bro.
note, I saw an interview with Big Boy, and he said he plays Pokemon Go, and he carries around the ball. I don't know anything
Yeah,
about it, but
it's
like
like a
this
little
ball,
Pokeball that, like, if you have that Pokeball and you have it synced to your phone, like with the Bluetooth,
yeah.
it automatically does all the tasks. Because if not, you have to open your phone and like physically press the buttons and stuff.
Oh,
So he has
so
the
hard.
Pokeball. So anywhere that he goes, yeah, facts.
It's
Anywhere
like
that
a
he
master
goes,
cheat. It just collects them as he
it
walks.
just collects
Oh, that's
everything:
whack.
the Pokemon,
That's whack,
the
Big Boy.
items,
You're better than
everything.
that. You're
Yeah,
better than
yeah.
that.
But man, that's the money play, bro. That's the money play.
And then what do you do when you collect them? What? Like, can you get money from them?
So Pokemon is one of those games, like the way that I look at it, because I'll be playing it here and there, bro. Like it's one of those games that if you have any like random dull moment, it's like a perfect little game for those moments.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's not like the game isn't like super consistent where you got to be on it. You know what I mean? Or like like
Yeah, yeah. It's
the goal is too
yeah, yeah.
complicated or anything. It's like you could
Pick
open
up where
it
you left
whenever
off.
and pick
Yeah.
up where you left off. Waste 10 minutes or whatever. For me, my go-to is when I'm at Disney with the family.
Mm.
Because whenever I'm at Disney with the family, that we're like walking around the theme parks or like at the pool or whatever, Disney got mad Pokestops. So when you open up the Pokemon app, it's like lit up. Like there's so much activity because like there's so many hotspots at
Yeah,
Disney.
yeah, yeah.
So you just sitting there doing your thing. It's kind of like when people play Candy Crush and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Like I used to like always like try to clown my wife like, damn, you play Candy Crush, but then I thought about it, I'm like, I'm playing
You're in the
Pokemon,
park with
bro.
Pokemon. Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to make it seem like my game is like more highbrow than hers.
Mhm.
Like we both doing something stupid, you know what I
It's
mean?
all right, man. You got to relax your mind sometimes. Just let
Yeah,
go, you
facts.
know?
Exactly. And that's like a something we were talking about earlier too. Like even just like being creative and being on that tip, like I feel like it lets you kind of be in that mind state where you're like more open to things. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you can get really rigid when like you're just in the mindset of like work and bills and like you kind of let yourself become one of them little
Yeah.
drones and
Mhm.
then you kind of forget like that you're here to have fun too. You know what I
I have to
mean?
remind myself that every day. You
Yeah,
know, be like,
facts.
chill out, dog. Relax.
Yeah, for real, man. Like even when we were talking about earlier, like we're all so tapped into everything that's happening all around the whole world,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like we're
yeah.
not supposed to know that, bro. Like we're just
Mhm.
supposed to like worry about like because even you think about like back in the day, a dude like was just waking up like okay, I gotta put in work, just to make sure there's food on the table and everybody's good and we're ready for the seasons and stuff. You know what I mean? Everybody was just a simple task. You knew what you was doing, and you appreciated anything above that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And now, bro, we got so much that we don't even know like
We
what
don't
what
appreciate it.
we don't appreciate it. We don't even know what we doing. Like, what's the
Yo,
point of
what are
what
we
we're
doing?
doing?
Yeah,
You
what
know
are
what
we
I
doing
mean?
right
Like,
now? I appreciate it. I love the life we live. Like, there's no way I'd want to be out there, harvesting fields on a grand scale just to survive. I'm glad we don't have to do that now.
yeah,
Not
facts.
saying that I don't have a garden and such, but I'm not relying on that to live. But yeah, what's the ultimate goal? Like, get rich and famous, have a big family, accumulate a buttload of money, or just be who we are with the people we have and the time we have left.
Yeah, it
You
it
know?
almost feels like we already like outkicked our coverage as like humans. You
Oh,
know what
we're
I
done,
mean?
son.
Yeah, like even like it's funny, man. The other day, I shout out to my guy Ian, man, my engineer, bro. He's super dope, man. Shout out to Polymath Studios. And the other day, I pulled up on him, like just airing out my frustrations on like AI and music. You know what I mean? I'm like, dang, bro, like I'm seeing all these people like posting all this AI stuff and like taking credit for it
Mhm.
because the normal people don't know it's AI.
Sure.
But when you make music,
You could hear.
you know what I'm saying? And you're like, damn, bro, like you really out here trying to take credit for some AI? Like, what are we doing, bro?
But a lot of the distribution companies, Lander, CD Baby, DistroKit, whatever you use, they have the stipulation that you cannot upload any AI created music.
Yeah,
Have you seen
now it's
that?
getting like flagged and like if you look in the song description, it'll say AI. So that's
Hmm.
super dope.
I love
I
that. That's
definitely like
cool.
that. But it was funny because I was talking to Ian about it, and he's like, bro, fuck all that. We about to all be dead. Like this AI stuff is way deeper than the music thing. You know what I mean? And it's like when you get into that side of it and you see what AI is doing and like just how many people it's put out of a job and stuff, and it goes back to what we were saying, like, what is the point of what we're doing, bro? Like things are getting to like such a degree that you don't even know like what's going on. You don't know what's like
So let's talk about our trip around the moon. Like, if our AI and our CGI is so good, how did that stuff look so horrible?
bruh,
Just our recent trip.
yo. And so I talked to Ian about this too, bro. He actually did a commercial with Buzz Aldrin, like
Nice.
maybe like 10 years ago or something like that. And he's
When
like,
he was real senile,
and
huh? He's like, I don't care. We never went
Ian is like,
anywhere.
nah, bro, we went to the moon. You don't understand. I talked to Buzz Aldrin. I'm like, dog. Yeah, like, it's hard for me to like think like, yo, we went to the moon at that time and then we just stopped.
That's it.
Like, it was 1969. A computer was the size of a house, bro.
And we're
And
making phone calls for the presidential office to the
yeah, like,
moon.
okay. I guess, I guess we just stopped. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah, none
even
of that makes
now,
sense.
they didn't even get off or nothing. They
No,
just
just
orbited a side that
yeah.
wasn't
There it
orbited
is.
before
There it
yet.
is. That's what that looks like.
And it's like, bro, like Yo, there's like new little thing now where I don't know if you've seen it, like, and this is all verified. Like anybody could go check this out, bro. There's like 12 or so different like scientists and like pundits kind of that have dealt with alien research that have gone missing or gotten killed in very recent like
Hmm.
very recently, like to the point where the FBI is now like looking into it because they're like, bro, this is too weird. You know what I mean? These are all people that were involved in alien stuff, like
Hmm.
alien research, um, anything the government that had to do with like UAPs, anything like that.
I just like how they rename UFO to UAP. Like,
Yeah,
come on, guy.
they try to soften it, bro. And it's crazy how much they've just been openly talking about.
It's like what are we talking about? Like, oh, you think aliens? Everybody should be like, oh yes, obviously. What's going on? People are like, oh, so what? It's like we're so in our brains.
Exactly,
Like it's
bro.
like they're like, drop this on them, see what they say.
Literally, bro. Like I remember when I think the first hearing that they had about that was like in 2023, and I was like, bro, I was telling people like, bro, you seen this? Like this is an official government hearing. Like this is a Senate hearing,
Talking
bro.
about the Canadian Minister, that one.
That one, and then they had one with these dudes that were part of different programs where they all were just talking about like, yeah, we've recovered like organics, we have ships, we have this like they're literally for 2 hours straight, bro. Like the people from the Senate are grilling them and Congress is grilling them like, yo, did you do like they're just asking them specific questions and the guys are answering like, yep, we've seen this, we've seen that.
Sure.
They're talking about specific crashes, they're talking about specific things that they have. And I'm like, bro, and then like you tell people and it's like, yeah, bro, there's like these wars going on, there's political unrest, there's this and that. Like people don't even care, but it's like, bro, this is insane, bro.
I
Like,
grew up. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off.
you good, you
Where
good.
I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, there was a giant, still is a giant Air Force base called Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I don't know if you've ever heard about it. But their whole thing is they have a giant underground city, and apparently this is where the Roswell crash went to be studied.
Yeah.
And so growing up there, you would always see crazy stuff in the sky late at night. All kinds of inexplicable things. Even in Sanford, I've seen weird
Yeah,
things,
no, facts. Same, bro.
If you don't see them or if you haven't experienced it in your life, you're just not open to it or you're not looking for it. You
No,
know what I
facts.
mean? Like, if
I,
you're open to it, you'll see it.
Bro, off the neighborhood I grew up in, remember I was saying off like Dean and Lake Underhill. One time, me and my mom was driving home from something at night, and we seen something in the sky, bro. And we pulled over. Yo, everybody pulled over, and we were all. It was like late at night, and it almost looked like a blimp, but it was moving insane, bro. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, it was like a group of like maybe 10 cars that pulled over to look at it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And this,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
I'm older, so like this is at the time when no cell phones, nothing like that. Like it's just people looking like, yo, what the hell is this? You know what I mean?
Memories.
And then the next day, we were trying to kind of see if like there was anything on the news about or anything, and
Nothing.
nothing. And I even asked my mom recently, like, "Hey, am I misremembering this, or did this happen?" And she's like, "No, that really did
You're probably
happen."
some of the only people to see it.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah,
And
that's
and it
cool.
was like so insane, but stuff like that is kind of like the UFO disclosure thing, where like, bro, people just they're like, "Oh, all right," and they just kind of keep it moving,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. It's like the movie Idiocracy or the movie Gamer. You ever seen the
Yeah,
movie
yeah,
Gamer?
uh
Yeah, same vibe. They don't care. Just keep me in my bubble and
literally,
keep it
bro.
moving.
It's crazy too, cause when you I don't know, man, like alien at the end of the day is just means that you're not like from wherever you're at. You know what I
Correct.
mean? So it's
Correct.
like I was talking about it with my wife recently. Like I kind of like the theory of like we're in this galaxy, and all the galaxies have different like ages. You know what I mean? Like the other galaxy that's nearby might be a billion years ahead of us, and they're just a more advanced version of us traveling around, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just seeing what's up because they have the capability to do it. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And even now, with AI, we're starting to find out like the need for cold basically to cool these like AI data centers because it uses a lot of energy and electricity and it burns hot. So they're starting to think about, oh, well, let's put stuff underwater, let's put stuff in space.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it only makes sense that like the most powerful tech that we can make would only operate in space. because space is the only place that has the temperature that can like withstand the kind of energy that that's putting out.
So you're
You
talking
know?
about they're gonna put all these data centers in space?
Yeah. So like even like Elon Musk was talking about like because they're already having issues now with like all these AI data centers like poisoning waterways and cities and
Awesome,
stuff and like
America.
they're just burning so hot and using so much energy that they're like there's like some towns where they're basically like passing off the fees like basically the
Well, you
energy
see all these anti data center protests in
exactly
cities
because
around the
they're because people
country.
are seeing damn my water and light bills going up but we're not consuming more. It's because they're consuming so much and they're getting it basically like subsidized through the
Mm-hmm.
government. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
free for them.
So Elon Musk was talking about basically, for lack of a better term, like these big ass satellites that have the AI data center capability in them in space. So because in space you have the space for it and it's super
Yeah,
cold,
do
so
it.
they can run
Let's do it.
hot. You know what I mean?
Send them up there.
And it's like, bro,
Send
like
them up there.
they're talking about this right now, bro. Like they
I'm sure it's up there. They're just telling us
yeah,
now.
exactly.
It's not like they haven't tried it.
And even like recently, Tesla announced they're discontinuing one of the models to shift that production just to AI stuff.
Sure.
So it's
Well,
like,
did you hear how much what he had to buy? Like, I don't know, so many hundreds of millions of dollars in his car share to keep it afloat this year.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
bro, it's when you really like, and it's like we were talking about, and like kind of the whole theme of everything we're talking about is like when you're so aware of all this stuff, bro, it gets so deep that you almost like realize like even if I stay tapped in, like what's the point? Like all this is running so deep from every direction that you're like, is
It's
you?
hard to breathe.
It's
It's
exactly.
hard
And
to
then if you're
breathe.
just like a regular person, bro, like what?
It's like, going to mom's house and she has the news on. It's like, oh no,
Yo,
turn it
every
off.
night,
Turn it off.
every night it looks like the end of the world is the next
Yeah.
day. You know
Can
what I
I get a
mean?
happy bunny picture or something?
Yep.
No, local children was stabbed by the candy man on wherever. It's like,
Yep.
what? Okay.
My mom always talks about like how since she was born, people been telling her the world's about to end.
Oh
You
yeah,
know
you
what I
hear that
mean?
all the
Like
time.
it's like one of those things where like everybody thinks they're in the worst time. Everybody thinks like, that everything they've heard throughout history is like, you know, they're that generation or whatever the case is. And kind of like to start winding down with this, like I feel like the alien thing is kind of like one of those things that if that shit is like verified in a real way while we're alive, like that's crazy that we were alive for that. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's so many it's been so taboo and like quote unquote BS this whole time. And then for it to finally be like, yeah, like this is
Well,
what
they
it
always
is.
said there was a time to come that they were going to reveal themselves, So, okay, they revealed themselves. So, what's next? Like, what are you going to tell us? Obviously, we're messing up. So, are you going to just annihilate us? You're going to take some of us with you? You're going to restart? Like, let's get to that part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It's getting hot outside already. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to melt. Let's just
Yeah,
hop,
for real,
hop to the
man.
conclusion here.
But yeah, man, this was a dope talk, man. We didn't even get into any of the stuff we were talking about getting into. Like I said, we definitely got to have you on
Yeah,
again,
man. I
bro.
would love
This
to
this
come
is a
back.
vibe.
Thank you for having me.
Tell the people a little bit about what you're working on now. Just what you've been into lately, just so they can kind of tap in. Like I said, I heard one of your joints before we started recording. It was super dope,
Thank you.
and I've seen you out and about doing your thing as far as DJing goes, and it's super dope too. So definitely let people know so they can tap in also.
Yeah, man. I'm just kind of taking a step back, for the past. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but a long time I've been constantly throwing shows, playing shows, and I've just taken a step back, work on my own album, something new, something you guys have never heard from me before. So focusing on that album tour, just the next step in Dizzle Phunk evolution.
But yeah, we'll definitely have you on before then. But definitely when you drop that, come
Yeah,
back
yeah, that'd
and
be
we can
cool.
talk about it and stuff. I always like having people on when they drop some music. It's always dope.
I'm down.
But yeah, man, appreciate you pulling up, man.
Thanks for
Next time
having
you
me.
pull up, make sure Joe's here, and like I said, you'll be here more often, Brody.
I appreciate the hospitality.
Yes, sir.